Hi and welcome back to Down the Shed. Now as always I'm playing around with camera angles. I can't help it, one day I'll find something that works for me. At the moment on that camera up there you can see what's in front of me. Move the phone. We've got this little circuit board. This is going to be electronic scales. Now I did jump the gun and kind of speed things up a wee bit by already placing the feet. So that camera, this is going to work. It's going to take a lot of editing. Some picture in picture, some this camera, some that camera, some both cameras. So I'm going to remove these. I'm going to put them on this coil, Tesla coil thing I made donkeys years ago. There's a video somewhere on my channel. I'll find it and I will link it. I'm going to take the long ones off, put the short ones on. I've stolen a spare leg out of my spares box. So I'm going to remove these, remove them, swap them over, and we'll be back. Right, what I didn't take into account was when I was swapping these over, I actually needed screws to go in these ones. The other ones had the screw thread on them and were fixed on with nuts. So instead of having nuts on the top of the PCB, we've got screws. Why have I got an extra hole? Now I'm wondering. Oh, I see what I've done. I screwed that one into where the weigh-in balance goes. So this one goes over here. Like a Mercedes star. I miss my Merc. I'll dig a picture out and put it in one of my videos one day. I had a 190E 2.6 straight 6, 144 ponies under the bonnet. Jesus, that car could move. Right, so there we have it. We're now, this one's going to see. We're now on 3 longer brass posts. Then the Tesla coil, which has got the old shorter ones on it. So you can see the difference if I hold it up. So that just gives it a bit more height off the ground, which I like. Right, so we've got our legs installed. We need to get on with the SMD work. So my plan is to take the solder paste. Now we've got 2 approaches for the solder. One is the soldering iron, and the other one is the, come on, wake up. The other one is the Halford's heat shrink hot air gun. And that does work. And I love watching them just jump into place. So I'm going to have to end this camera because this camera is going to become my microscope camera. So we're going to be working on that camera only at the moment, and this part of the window is going to be what you see, what I see here. So I'm going to end for the second and then I'll come back. Right, now that's settled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find an old component. I'm going to use that to try and get a bit of this solder paste, which is extremely sticky and doesn't like to stick to anything. Just try and dab some of it onto these pads. That's bloody rain. This stuff just won't. There we go. Right, R.i.f.t 1K, I think. I should have started from R9. So when I say these parts are tiny, There is a photo in my phone that I took to show one of my colleagues. I'll upload that onto the computer, and I'll put one of these components, or the picture of one of these components, on a 1p piece, and you'll see what I mean. We're trying to do this in the flipping I have to watch what I'm doing on here, but I'm literally using the this should be so much softer than this paste. It's very old, but I have to kind of look down to put it on and then look up to see what it looks like. That looks funny as hell in the microscope. I'm trying to roll this resistor, it's not working. There's enough on there. So we've now got to find two 1k resistors and, oh, stop knocking the table, and a C5 104. Now that one's the easy one. What are the sizes of SMD resistors? No, it's not what I want now. Where's me? That one. Oh, there's a loose resistor on here somewhere. Oh, I thought I saw it then. There it is. And I think it's a 102. Which is 1k. No, I just knocked everything. Okay, my bad. God, these are so tiny. I'm sure it's 102. Let's put it down on the board because the camera will pick it up. 102. So 102 is 1k. We want two 1ks. God, they are tiny. It looks bigger in that picture. I'll try and get this on the board now. Coming in with my right hand. Right, that will sit down perfectly when we introduce the heat. Right, that's got 104 written on it, and we'll take that out of the way. That says 104. Oh, we'll turn that off. I use the light we've already got. So we need to extract one of these out of this casing. There we go. Now these can go on upside down, back to front, as long as they go on in the correct orientation. There's no sort of back to front, left to right, like the resistors really. You just want to get them on there really. Right, we need to find that other 1k, and I think it came out of this one, because this one seems to have one missing. 102, there we go. So we want one of them. We'll take the one out the other end, that's liable to fall out at any minute anyway. I'll flip over. There we go. Right, I do like to get them up the right way, although again it doesn't matter. Oh, let go. There we go. Again, that'll just seat itself really nicely when we bring the heat. Right, so we'll try and fire up this that sounds like it kicked in. Feel some heat. So what we'll do is we'll just literally bring the heat in. It'll melt that solder. But we'll bring the soldering iron in because I think it'll work better. This solder's just, oh, that one went way mad. Let's get that one out. Right, so we need to turn that off. Where's the bloody hook thing? We need to re-tin that one and relocate that resistor. That went on easier. See, I can do this quite well with a magnifying glass. It's just that microscope not only gives you a better view, but I can actually see what's going on better as well. I mean, that other resistor isn't sat brilliantly, but it's sat. Does mean we're going to have a hell of a time with this other kit. That's going. I can see it glowing. Right, let's try and pick this resistor up and get it back on. Ow, could feel my finger burning then. Let's do that. Right, they're all in. Let's hope we do a better job of the rest of it. I think what we might try on the next ones is using the soldering iron. Let's wipe some of that away. So we do need to get some isopropyl or alcohol at some point, but that should have all melted nicely. But as you can see, it is pretty okay. I could tidy those up with a soldering iron, I guess, but they're on. Let's switch it on and see what happens. See, it's pretty easy to get to them with the soldering iron, really. Right, so you can see we've got a 104. Stop knocking the table. So we'll get our little resistor. I've had a cold. Get a tab in there. Oh, we can spread that one out. Just going to turn this around. I don't know if it's still in for you. There we go. It'll come off. There we go. I've bloody bent on the component then as well. Once you ping these, I used to do a lot of with the tweezers on LEDs. Once you ping them, oh my god, you can spend days on your hands in these. Just make sure you've got spares. Oop, go back over. Well, I can see the soldering iron's gone to sleep out the corner of my eye. So we'll do this one with the soldering iron and see what difference it makes. Oh, go that way. It's nearly there. Come on. The soldering iron is going on some now. Needs to lay down. Oh, hand in it. Bloody hell. Hand in the way. So it does help to see them with these tweezers. Oh, Jesus. Right, we'll try it the old school way on the next one. We did find some of those 0Rs a minute ago. So we'll tin, this is the proper way, we'll tin, oh that's gone to sleep, there we go. It's a bit messy but we'll tin the pad. We'll find the right part. I think that was possibly, no, that's got two out. That's going to be these, I reckon. Yeah, I can see the 0 in the magnifying glass. We'll liberate one of those. Hell, I think we just pinged one of those. Look, because I mentioned my emergency supplies earlier, we're going to have to go to them later to replace that one. So we'll get another 0 ohm out. Bloody annoying when that happens. Could have got bloody far. We're the other side of bloody Europe by now. Oh, I've knocked all this out of kilter now, haven't I? Oh, there it is. Oh, don't fall upside down. I hate it when that happens. So we need our soldering iron. There we go. That's much better. There we go. So that's that one soldered in. So I think what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and solder the rest of them on. So we'll tin this pad, tin this pad. So that's those two pads tinned. We now need to find 8.2K and a 20K. The 8.2K is an 822. So we just have to get that down onto this pad. Like so. And we'll just solder in the other side. And that's that one in. So we'll find the 20k, which I reckon has got to be this one. No, that's the one we just had. That looks like capacitors. Yeah. $203. No, wrong mouse. 203. This is digikey.co.uk/en/resources/conversion calculators/conversion calculator SMD resistor code 20k. So that'd be the one we want. Yeah, break that one out. Right, let's get E on. He's on. Good enough anyway. That's what Land Rover said. Good enough. There we go. Right, so I'm gonna... No, Sherlock, you're banging the table. Oh, bloody dog. Why's this shed wobbling? Right, so as you can see, we've got our two 1Ks at the top with our C5 104, C4s are 104, R16 is 0R, R7 8.2, R6 20k. I shall come back next. Get the fuck down. Can you see this? Come here. Come here, Sherlock. He's missed his daddy today. Daddy had to do his last day community service. Oh, you missed your daddy, haven't you? Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Oh, you big baby. Yes, you are. You're a big baby. Right, stop hijacking my videos. Off. I'm going to do that chip next. So remember, let's get it in shot. There's a notch in that board. Goalposts, as I call them. Fucking dog. Let's get the chip. So there isn't a notch, but there is a little dot. So the dot wants to go to goalpost end. So that's roughly in position. I'll get one of these soldered up, and then we'll set the chip. And then we'll go to clay. Right, let's see this chip. just going to do one of the legs on the other side. Like that. That's nice to finish actually. Go in that, go in that. And a wee bit of solder. Oh, don't do that. Shut up, stop knocking the table, you prick. Daddy's fucked it up again. Right, so that's the full-on soldering of SMD parts so far. Let's do a C3, we've still got a triode, we've still got a C6 to do, C2 over here. So there's still a few bits to go on. What are these? That's one of the triodes, so there seems to be two. Looks like we are getting spare bits, so I won't need to get one of those 102s out by the look of it. Dog, have you farted? Fucking hell. Just trying to see if I've missed any of these surface mount parts. So C3, Q5, C6 and C2. That will be it. So that's it so far. There you can see 3 of the final parts. I've got BSMD. There's the other one. In fact, I might just crack on and do them. Okay, so we've got 2 of these that we can go straight in with. So let's get the first one on. (104s) again. I have no way of testing these, so I don't think there's any markings on them, so I have to take their word for it. Now he's led down snoring. Right, so that's one of the two on. The through-all stuff is like child's play. This is the where you split the men from the boys. Good enough. Come on, wake up. Thank you. I don't like it when it goes spiky. Oh, it's too hot. I don't know. Turn it down to 329. It was at 340. Right then. Right, so that's the two capacitors in. There's a C6 there. $10 US. He gave us 3. So I got spare stuff in here now. So I'm adding to the spares instead of actually using them. I suppose it's good. You've always got them if you're not using them. Let's get C6 done. I'll have to turn this actually. Oh, there we go. There we go, that'll do. Get the other side in. Trying to do this left-handed now. Well, it's right-handed, but cack-handed, if you know what I mean. Right, that's in. So all we have left is one of these little 2 triodes. So again, a spare one. It's going to be upside down. I shall avert this immediately. May the fun begin. That feels like it's quite well stuck. I wouldn't mind just shifting it a little, like that. Right, now, when I find it again, there it is. I'm going to do this inside one first, because it's perilously close to everything. Okay, that's on. So I think must have been looking at the other kit. The clock kit must have had 2 oscillators, which is what confused me. Yeah, that appears to be all the surface mount stuff done. It's a bit crude. It's the first time I've done surface mount in ages. That's most of the, all of the surface mount stuff, sorry. Don't know why we had that much surface mount and then all the rest of it through hole. It's quite strange. It's like best of both worlds, so to speak. But from here on in, it's a walk in the park. Right, for the minute I'm going to stick with just the full screen. As you can see, we've got a red, red, black, black, brown. That's a 220R. That's R17, and that's already been soldered in because it's really close to this one. So R4, R3, R2 and R1 are all 1Ks, which is brown, brown, black, black, brown. So I'm going to get those soldered in and then we'll be back. There are 2 more 1Ks we've got to put on the board. Right, R5 is also 1K, and R18 is a 1K. So we'll just get those 2 on. So there we have all the 1Ks on board and all of the surface mount stuff. It looks a bit messy, but it'll work. That's the main thing. Oh, there's another one of those kits. I might have to buy a second one and redo, see if we can do it just a little bit neater. But at the end of the day, as long as it's functional, it's a good day. So I'm going to leave that there. I've got 6 10Ks here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can just about see them all in shot actually. There we go, all the 10Ks are in shot. So I'll get those all in. So that was our 10, 11, 12 and 13. So what we've got left now is our 14 and 15, which I'll bring into shot in a second. There we go. So our 5, 14 and 15, sorry, not R5, R14 and R15 are 10Ks, which are the 2 over here next to that 1K. Right, so that is all of the resistors on. What we'll do next when we come back, because I can't get this whole board in the shot, is we're going to bang the switch, the power, the other way around, the power, the switch and this capacitor in, and then that's this little corner of the board done, apart from that tiny little transistor or whatever it is there. Well, I'm going to go with this LED. So remember that the long leg is the anode and the short leg is the cathode. They put a positive on the board for us for the long leg. Also, you can see there's a flat part on there, and there's usually a flat part on the LED. I don't know, the camera's not picking it up too brilliantly, but you kind of get the gist of the flat edge there. So long leg in the positive. Also there's a, no, I was looking at something else then. So long leg in the positive, and that will just sit in like that. I'm not even going to bother with the blue tack, because that's just going to sit on the table and push itself through anyway. So we'll just bring in some heat. When he finds the heaty side, the soldering tips are knackered. Need some new ones. Well, I don't need a new soldering iron, but it helps if you turn it on. Right, so now we've got some heat and solder iron. We should be able to get some soldering done. So there's the LED on board. There we go. One green LED. Who's sneaking in for Sherlock? Right, yeah, when we come back, we're not going to do what I said. We're going to change our plan. We're going to get the 4 switches on when I find them. There we go. We're going to get those. There's number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get those 4 switches on. They're just side mounted micro switches. So I've just put in key 2 because I thought it was key 1, which I've just put in there. So as you can see, let's get that round that way. There we go. So 3 and 4. So there's our 4 side facing micro switches. C1. Yep. 47 UF. And that'd be 16 volts maybe. Yeah, 16 volts. So again, remember the board has plus and the white bit. The white bit corresponds with the negative side of the, and the positive is also long leg. So long leg in the positive hole, like so. That'll just sit in place anyway. This extractor fan ain't too bad. It does help draw the fumes away from me. Be nice if we had a bit of hose to get it closer to the window though. You see the fumes wisping away towards the fan there. That ain't very well done. So the buzzer has no, it does have a long leg and a short leg. So you can see this one's a bit longer. So this one should also be, yep, on the top you have the sticker. Remove seal after washing. I love that. Leave the seal on there. Do not remove the seal, because it keeps the nasty BP to a minimum. So the board does have a plus marked on it. Helps us find it home easier. Let's get the original solder back. The one I like. I like it. I like it. There we go. So we have 5 8550 transistors. It's quite a common transistor in a lot of these kits. Again, the shape of the transistor, as you can see, there's a flat side on it. Goes with the flat side on the board, obviously. You don't really need to spread any of the legs because they're so close together. Crikey, that wasn't easy. They're so close together on these boards. On this one anyway. Sometimes they're spaced out and you can space the legs out a bit, but not on this one. So we'll put some blue tack on that. So that's the first 8550 in. Now bearing in mind how painful that was, I think we should get the other 4 done. Right, next we'll get this LED unit in. Now bear in mind, on the display you can see dots, on the screen you can see dots, so you want the dots on the display to marry with the screen, silk screen, whatever you want to call it, like so. So the chip is going to be too big to get on camera, you can see, but remember the goalpost end. I'm not going to put the chip holder in, I'm just going to do the chip straight on the board, and then we'll come back to these 3, and that will be all nearly. We've only got the 4 wires from the way bar to solder in, and I'll have to look online for those. So let's get this big ass cap on next. Again, long leg positive, grey area negative. Right, let's try that really fat solder again, because we want to dollop it in these holes at a gargantuan amount. Like that. and like that. So that'll anchor it in. These are the connectors, so just enough on there to make the connections. So that's the big switch in. And like I say, I've got a button we can put on there from somewhere, because that looks a bit shit. Next, it's the power connector. Again, absolutely flood these with solder. Let's find the, there we go, find the microscope, and let's flood some solder. Like so. I mean, really pile this stuff in. You're going to be pushing and pulling on this every time you connect and disconnect the power. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, I think they're good enough. Plenty in there. You can see the bit of the flux glowing around the edges. So that's the power board, or power connector on the board. Just dab away. If you get blue tack stuck behind, just dab away at it. So it's the chip now on this one, and then the 4 wires, and then it's a case of building it. So I'm going to get the chip on and stop the recording for the minute. Right, the chip's on board, and there's a quick look for those of you who like to do the numbers. Right, so that's the board as it is. The chip's on. The LCD, you can see all the resistors, the transistors, switches, power points, the whole kit and caboodle, especially at those nasty, horrible, fun SMD parts. So it's been a couple of years since I played with SMD. This was quite a bit of a practice, really. I've got another kit in there. It's going to be fun, but I think, bearing in mind we ain't done a half bad job on them. I mean, they are soldered on, so when I find a happy medium for my soldering iron and this solder, because at the moment we're not piss off, clock. I don't know how to turn that fucking thing off. It was a Lidl's one because it had the LED light on it, which is what's giving me all this nice brightness, which doesn't really work as well as it used to. Oh, there's a touch sensitive one. Right, so yeah, what we need to do now is basically take the weigh bar. So as you can see, it's got 4 wires coming out of it. It's got 4 holes, 2 large, 2 small. And it says with the glue towards you, so I think that's where the wires are coming out of, because the 2 holes will have the glue coming towards you. So I think the wires have to go underneath it. I don't know what the holes in the middle are for, to be fair. They seem quite purposely machined out like that. Perhaps, I don't know. So there's 3 bits of glue on here. We've got 1 kg pointing down, but the big holes seem to be on the right hand side, and that means that bit of glue's got to be towards us. So I'm going to go and look on the instructions in a minute to see where these colours are going in, because these 4 wires go in those last 4 holes up next to the SMD stuff. Right, so the 4 wires from top to bottom are white, green, black, red. So the top wire you want is white, the second to top green, second from bottom black, and the bottom one red. White, green, black, red, as per the picture I'm looking at on my computer. So now it is literally right. What we've also done is we put the 2 screws in the base, connected that to the plastic pillars, which in the computer says they're brass. They're not. They've sent me 2 plastic ones. I did try changing them out for some different ones, but I haven't really got the necessary size, so we'll stick with what they've sent. Next, what we need to do is somehow fix the acrylic top. This is literally the home run now. Fix the acrylic board, use 2 cushions, and then it goes on to tutorial. So there's some way we have to fix like, seriously? So one of these has got a hole and one of these hasn't. Oh, no it has. I've just punched it out. I was going to say that was taking the piss. That goes in too far. That's not very neat, is it? Basically, the holes in the acrylic top here have to have screws sticking out, so when you put a basin or something on there, it's not going to sit flush. And that means I've now got to find a way of getting those little nuts on underneath. That's going to be fun. So that'll go on like that. But what we've got to try and do, and I've got loads of spare parts here, is to try and get these nuts on. So I think I'm going to have to use a pair of pliers, or we're going to have to take this board back off. So if I hold that in a pair of pliers, I should be able to screw. That's working. That's definitely working. So sometimes you just got to use a bit of ingenuity. You can either put the acrylic base onto the wayboard before you put the wayboard on, or I really don't understand how this waves though. I don't know how that works out, what weight, I don't know. Come on, take. That's it, I think we took. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta, in the words of Clint Eastwood, can't remember the name of the film now, improvise, overcome and adapt. No, Dirty Dozen? No, is it Dirty Dozen? I don't know, I can't remember. But it's a good film anyway. Heartbreak Ridge. There's a bit of plastic I punched out of that acrylic thing. Heartbreak Ridge, good film that, I like that one. You can't watch it too many times though, it gets a bit boring after a while. It is old. Gurney Sergeant. Right, so this should be ready for testing. Now, after welding the product, plug in the power supply, press the switch, the LED will light up and the buzzer will beep for a few seconds. The digital tube will display 0.00. The unit is kilograms. The minimum scale is grams and the range is 1 kilogram. More than 1 kilogram, the buzzer will alarm. Put the electronic scale on a horizontal tabletop and press the 0 button to reset. It doesn't actually tell us which is the 0 button. We're going to have to figure that out. Get trial and error. Press the switch unit button. The digital tube displays 00.00. The unit is grams. Minimum scale is 0.01 gram. And and the maximum range is 99.99 grams. Flipping out 0.01, you could use this for weed. When the weight exceeds the range, the buzzer will alarm. Press the switch unit button to switch the unit to kilogram and the buzzer will cancel the beep. With memory fine-tuning function, for example, when weighing 100 gram objects, the digital tube displays 98. You can press the fine-tuning plus button to adjust to 100 grams to improve the accuracy, otherwise press the fine-tuning minus button. 0 return button can be used as a tare. I didn't get them all on dead straight, some of them are a bit crooked, as you can see, but it doesn't matter. So let's steal a power cable from one of these other projects. That is just begging to donate it. Let's plug that in. And what I'm going to do is bring the laptop down. We'll turn this round. We'll plug this into a USB. Oh, I had one over there anyway. Doesn't matter. Let's turn that fan off. We don't need that one anymore. Computer, wake up. Right. Moment of truth, guys. Let's turn that one off. Right, lights on, green lights on. And there's... Ooh! A blue on it. I really don't understand how these things pick up the weight. There's the alarm, but it's still weighing, look. That's 1.5 grams, kilograms. So it will weigh over a kilogram, but it will sound the alarm. Now remember, I didn't remove the seal after washing. So let's see if we can find a tare button. Don't know what that's doing. All that. Right, that's going. That must be grams. So this top one must be tare. There we go. So now we can have a guess at weighing things. So a 20p piece is 4. It's not sure how heavy it is. So 0.004 is 4 grams, or 4.08. So we can actually, literally, you could use this for weighing, not accurately I would hasten to add, but illicit purposes. And there's 0, so that's tare. So that changes. So you see the dot. Can you see the dot move? Let's just tear that off a minute. There you go. See the dot move? Oh, and the light goes out. So when we're in grams and kilograms, the green light's on. And when we go into milligrams, the green light goes out. Right, key 4 and key 3, the bottom two, closest to you when looking at it like I am. Key 3 adds and key 4 deducts. So if your weight isn't accurate, you can sort it out that way. So if I turn these kitchen scales on, you can just about see there's 0. Oh, this apple was 161 grams last time I weighed it. There we go. So this apple is 161 grams. On these scales it came out as 133. So I've used the number 3 button to bring the weight up. So if we set it on here now, that should say 161 grams. So if I use button 4, if you watch, you can see the numbers going down. Then if we use 3, we can raise it. So we now know that this apple is 161 grams and this now weighs correctly. So if we find, let's take this crappy solder that I don't like, that I bought recently. We weigh that on the kitchen scale. Don't know what I pressed then, but I ended up the... Right, so if we put this on here, we've got 20 grams of solder. And we bring this one back into the camera. We have 19 grams, which is pretty close. So we can up that one. There we go. We've now got 20 grams. Let's try the apple again. Now it's 167. So they're pretty shite. We're not going to disagree. 162. It's close. Doesn't matter where you put them. The result was always the same. So 19 grams is pretty darn tootin' close. That's the tare. Number 1's tare. Number 2 changes the... So that says 19 point... Let's call it 6.5. So it's not far off. This one doesn't do milligrams. So it's pretty darn close now. So I don't think that's too bad. Am I going to use it for weighing out the dog food? That was the idea, because it was supposed to give the missus a better screen to look at. I think Madam can get hers done on this one. The boy has... can't remember what I weigh out for the boy now. Shit. Forgotten how much dog food the boy gets. I think it's 314 grams. Or was it 414? I can't remember. I'll have to look at the bag tomorrow now, remind myself. But it's not too bad. It's close enough. I mean, if the dog gets a few grams more or less here and there, it's not going to do much harm to him. So I think that's a pretty good little build. Get that cigarette out of the way. I think that's a pretty good little build. I mean, it's fairly close. I don't know why that way. I mean, there's nothing bouncing in here. I was just sitting dead still, not doing anything to see if that was settled. I don't know why that's beeping. So if we change the output again, that should be alright. 161, 162. Well, I think that's a happy day anyway. So this is the kitchen scale, part SMD, mostly through hole. It's not a bad little build. I mean, it does kind of show you how the weigh bar of a scale kind of works, but how that determines the weight, I don't know. I mean, really, what is happening here? I need to look that up. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm not going to put another button. I might do. I'll have to dig some bits out. Like, subscribe, comments below, share my video, and I will see you in the next one. Shut up. No jumping. Alright. Sit.